YouTube, what is up? This is Isaac Walton for Hunting the River King, taking a look at a new action camera review. Now you may remember the ELE Explorer action camera review I just did a few months back. Really liked the camera, had a few issues with sort of dark white contrast with the sky, but overall it was a pretty powerful camera, one that had a lot of features and came in at a real budget price. Well, to add on top of all the features the ELE Explorer had, ELE has come out with the ELE Explorer Pro. New design, still compatible with GoPro accessories, offers some sort of voice control feature, and perhaps most excitedly to me, has gyro stabilization. Now, the Get Up 2 is a camera which I absolutely love. It's probably one of my favorite action cameras right now. Some of the highest quality footage, both photographs and videos at its price point. It has a gyro, which made me love it even more. I was kind of upset that the initial ELE, which was priced at a point much lower than the Get Up 2, doesn't have a gyro. So here we have the ELE Explorer Pro version, which does have a gyro. Let's bust it out, take a look at the box, see what's inside. As always, ELE does a fantastic job of packaging their stuff in a very professional, fancy manner. Love it. Just for kicks, our older ELE is over here. We've got I think this is the Ekin right here, and one of the older Get Ups, the Get Up 1, also a great camera right here. Let's see how the ELE Explorer Pro compares to these other action cameras. So here's the ELE Explorer Pro, smartly packaged. It's already in its waterproof case. We'll go ahead and take it out. Looks like it, as I said earlier, it is going to be also compatible with GoPro accessories. And for anyone who's asking questions about this, all that means is this little mount right here will also work with other mounts and things that you would wear to mount a GoPro on. It's really not that complicated. This little kind of attachment point has a hole where a screw goes through, and it just screws in to either a head mount, a chest mount, a floaty mount, a wrist mount. Very simple. That's what GoPro compatibility means. I've had a few questions about that, and that's all that means. So here we're looking at it. It's in its waterproof case, very similar to the form factor on it's like the GoPro form factor on other waterproof cases. Nice big buttons here. I think in the early SJ4000 models, some of these buttons were really small. They tended to get clogged and stuck, and then they'd be a lot harder to push them. So nice to see that form factor. Spring loaded right here to go ahead and open it up. And it's got a screen on the back, LCD screen. One thing that sets most of these other action cameras apart from the Xiaomi Yi series, which doesn't have an LCD screen, or some of the GoPro models. So what kind of accessories do we have in here from ELE? It's probably going to be a lot of your usual ones. On top, you've got some of these adhesive mounting options. Put it on maybe like a bike helmet or something. You can slide the mount through there. These are very popular. They come with most cameras. Of course, you got a USB charging cable. The belt clip mount. I've seen that used a couple times. Haven't used it a lot myself. Oh, the handlebar mount, always popular, always prevalent with action cameras. Great if you're into biking or you want to put this on some sort of pole. Here's another angled mount right here. Looks like we got some Velcro straps. I've actually found that these are super useful for mounting cameras to cheaper quadcopters and drones like the Sky Vampire or the Tarantula X6. These Velcro straps are very handy. Always keep around. Haven't used them so much just for the action camera by itself. Here's another one of the angle mounts. This is good. Sometimes for the chest mount. Very common one. Looks like we got a few other adapters. The screw adapter here, that's helpful for some mounts, and more of the belt clip style mount if you want to mount it without having to actually have it inside of the waterproof case. Use that on a couple of occasions. Another angle mount, another angle mount. These are all GoPro compatible. Explained earlier what that is. And an extra backdoor case. I've had this with a few action cameras, haven't really needed to use it. ELE's little slogan here is Dare to Be, and you'll see their little Dare to Be surfer icon, which I love, onto the loading screen. We've got our manual here. Looks like a warranty card. Some adhesive backing with a little extra strap. And a lens cleaning cloth. That was handy. For some reason, my lens was a little dirty when I got it. I think it was just from the sticker that was over it, but I cleaned it up pretty well using one of these. And we got a few zip ties. Those are handy, but I haven't used them so much for the actual action cameras, more just for other mounting options with quadcopters. So take a look at this form factor on the new ELE Explorer Pro. Looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? Gotta say, they've moved quite a bit away from, well, I guess I can't say quite a bit away, but a good amount away from the old SJ4000 look, although they still have the basic stuff. Battery compartment here. Should work with other SJ4000 batteries. You can pick them up all over the place for anywhere about $5 or $6. Always have a few extra of those on hand. We got our LCD screen in the back, and we've got the USB ports here, HDMI output, and a micro SD slot here. There isn't going to be that slot that you can easily use for an external mic that I can see. In case anyone has any questions about that. The front-facing design is different though. It says ELE Explorer Pro, has the power button here, and just for comparison's sake, once again looking at the front angle of the camera, here's the older ELE. It uses the more traditional SJ4000 design. Same with, I think this is the Ekin H9. Big button in the front, no molded thing here. This has got an indentation, nice little ELE logo. We'll go ahead and power that up. Just hold it down, button presses very easily. And we're going to definitely have our, alright, so here's our LCD back door. Missed the loading screen of the Surfer, but it is on there. Clear, it's got a lot more icons than the previous ELE one had. Video recording up top right, top left shows your action recording mode, amount of video, time to record left, the time as well. Clear, crisp screen. Little blue icon on the left shows it's actually on. That's also where you look to see if it's charging. Let's look at our menu options. Always go into the menu when you get one of these action cameras and turn off the date time stamp, unless for some reason you're one of those weird people who actually does like it. Please let me know why you like to have that on there. I hate having it on there. So here's the menu. Sorry if it's a little shaky, balancing this with one hand here. We got our resolution, loop recording, gyro. Turn that thing on. That's going to be one of the first things I want to do with this. That's one of the big selling points for this. Wide dynamic range, time-lapse recording. Let's see what options we have under time-lapse. So we've got 100 milliseconds. Oh, it's in milliseconds. 200, 500, 1 second, and 5 seconds. So a good amount of options there. Not quite up to, I think, the several minutes that the Get Up offers, but still quite a bit of options. Motion detection. You can turn record audio on or off. There's that motion detection option, which might be useful. I don't know if the motion detection has a, let's see if it has a, that's just an on or off feature. Some of them will shut off if no motion after a certain time. This one doesn't look like it has it. There's a date and stamp. The angle. So I think this comes at 170. Yep, 170 default angle. Look at all those angle options you can change it to. 140, 110, 70, and back to 170. I like the wide angle 170. I know not everyone likes that wide angle look. Driving mode, night scene. So it's probably just going to adjust some of the features and the contrast. A self-timer. Self-timer options that we have. Single 2 seconds, so probably 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, all the way up to, that's it. Okay, so we'll go back to single. Image size. Photographs are definitely higher quality on this than the previous ELE. Let's get a little closer to it so you can see what we're actually looking at. 20 megapixel, 16 megapixel, 12 megapixel, 10 megapixel, 8 megapixel, 5 megapixel VGA. A lot of options on there. We'll see if any of those are what the sensor is actually truly capable of. Okay, back to image size. There's a burst photo mode. There's quality, sharpness, white balance adjustable, colors are adjustable, ISO is adjustable, exposure value is adjustable, anti-shake. So you needed to find out exactly how that differs from the gyro feature, because sometimes I have a little bit of a shaky hand if I've just been climbing up some rocks or something, and having an anti-shake feature would be nice. You can actually delete stuff, protect all your files, and turn Wi-Fi on or not. Hopefully this will connect with the initial ELE app, which I really liked in the earlier one. There's your Wi-Fi info, date and time, and then the auto power off, beep sound, voice prompt, car, I'm not sure what the car AC does, languages, TV mode, TV, so that's probably for the HDMI out options, screenshot, frequency, screensaver, format, default setting version. Lot of options here, folks, a lot of options. Let's go back and take a look at some of the color editing options. We'll turn on the anti-shake. Oh, it's already on by default. So let's go to ISO. If we were to adjust the ISO, so we can increase 100, 200, 400, or auto. If you're someone who likes to play around with that, by all means go ahead. One of the nicer features in this, you can do color, black and white, or sepia. For white balance, let's see if it's auto or, yep. This is just like the other ELE, not a lot of adjustment options here. Auto, daylight, cloudy, or tungsten. I found that these actually do help when you adjust them. If it's actually truly bright outside, use daylight, or cloudy, use cloudy. On the initial ELE, that did seem to make quite a difference. And then let's go to this burst mode, because that's an interesting one. That'll probably determine how many photos you take in a quick second. Doesn't really give you a lot of information on it. Okay, let's go back to our photo mode. I'm going to press the front here to cycle the modes. Okay, now we're in photo mode. You can see in the top left it shows the photo icon, shows the anti-shake is on, the EV, the ISO settings, and it's at 3 megapixel right now, and battery life. Pretty slick little heads-up display sort of here. A lot more than the previous ELE featured. I didn't put an SD card in for this video, and we're back. So that's the options here in the ELE Explorer Pro. A couple more clarifications. The little instruction manual is actually in half-decent English, very helpful for the English speaker, who's primarily an English speaker. The motion detection mode reportedly will detect motion, start recording, and if 10 seconds no motion, will stop recording. That's very helpful. Some of the other action cameras I've had just keep recording on and on and on once they actually detect motion. That's not quite as useful. So I'm doing a quick audio test here, testing as I'm recording my Tarantula X6 drone, which can carry the ELE Explorer, GoPro, and other cameras, and my cat, who is sleeping once again. I get a lot of requests to see, hey, how's the audio on that camera? Honestly, I never use the audio 90% of the time, maybe 95%, just because this camera is going to be inside a waterproof case. Right now it's out of the waterproof case. And you don't need to use audio recording if you're in a waterproof case because you're not going to hear anything. Yeah, isn't that right? Anyway, you can get an idea for the audio. So we've talked a lot about the ELE Explorer Pro. Let's go ahead and take a look at some footage filmed with the actual action camera. Got a variety of stuff coming up for you guys. Think you'll enjoy it.
And these nights are getting shorter, like a energy I'll conquer. In my soul, this is real. These nights are getting shorter. In my soul, this is real.
Alright guys, let me give you a few more thoughts on the different options available on the ELE Explorer Pro. So resolution, when you go into that menu, you're going to get a bunch of different options that initially are kind of odd. UHD P24, QHD P30, FHD P60. So UHD P24 is just interpolated 4K. It's not true 4K. It's decent, it's usable, but if you want real resolution, use the QHD P30 for the 2K images at 30 frames per second, or as I do, FHD P60. Fortunately, ELE doesn't brag that it's a 4K camera because it's not truly. The chipset and image sensor can't really support that. It's actually just a 2K camera, but still very high quality images. And the FHD P60, which is 1080p at 60 frames per second, is quite nice and works out quite well. Going from there, the gyro feature, which is on here, is not as good as the Get Up 2. It's still good. It takes away some of the shaking. I think a good firmware update could maybe up the sensitivity of the gyro, make it a little bit smoother. Something I would like to see in the future. Definitely better than one without it, but definitely needs to be upped a little bit. Wide dynamic range is nice. Really high quality images I'm getting out of this. Going on down. Date stamp. A little bit of an issue I've run into here recently. Date stamp does allow you to turn the stamp, which I hate, off of the videos, but for some reason it's not coming off of the photos. Fortunately, the ELE folks have reportedly released a firmware update that gets rid of it off of photos. Make sure you pick that up. I believe GearBest have it, and I think the ELE Explorer website has it too. You may have to contact their customer service directly for that firmware update though. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, you'll have to Photoshop it out. Now, I did try the diving mode out. Was doing some snorkeling out here in Southern California. You know, it looks okay. It was kind of a cloudy day. I think when cloudy days are going on and the visibility is not the best, just using the standard mode is probably better, not switching into the diving mode for underwater scenes. A few other notes here on the options. Image size. So this camera is really only capable, the image sensor is only capable of up to 12 megapixels. The photos look great, but there's no reason for you to go to 16 or 20 megapixels. That's just interpolated up. It's basically like resizing it up, and so you lose, or you're just actually creating a larger image without actually using it and getting that level of detail. So stick with 12 or less. Don't go anywhere from there. Very good image sensor, very good chipset, but you know the limitations and know what it can do. I've included the specifications below this. Few other notes here. Quality of images has been fantastic. Haven't messed around too much with the color, white balance options. The auto feature seems to do that pretty well, and the anti-shaking is working pretty well for keeping those photographs not too blurry when I'm taking a photo with it. So guys, if you're trying to decide on an action camera right now, and you've decided that you don't want one that's kind of the lower quality but very affordable ones that are in the less than $70 range or so, and that range, we're talking about the Xiaomi, we're talking about the SJ4000, SJ5000, talking about the SJ7000, the Ekin, or the ELE Explorer. I said lower quality. Those are all fantastic cameras. They just don't have some of the nicer features or higher quality image sensors you'll see. In that range, the first Get Up 1, the Xiaomi, and the ELE are all pretty good options. If you decide that's just not for you, you want something a little bit with some more premium features, then you're kind of looking up at the Get Up 2 or the ELE Explorer Pro. Of course, there's GoPro, but that price range is really considerably above that, and I'm into the affordable alternatives to GoPro, which this one is. So this camera compares very favorably with the Get Up 2. I'm very happy with it. As I mentioned, its compatibility with all the accessories, such as GoPro accessories or other OEM accessories, is great. The design's great. The photo quality is very good. It's actually some of the highest quality photos that I've seen from an affordable action camera. Definitely a step up from the ELE Explorer. Definitely better than the Ekin H9, some of the other ones out there, and pretty close to Get Up 2 quality, if not the same quality. Okay, video quality is also pretty close to the Get Up 2 quality. Maybe not quite as good, but really close. Most people won't notice the difference. With a little bit of editing, they'll look exactly the same. The one downside of this camera is that the gyro, I don't feel, is quite as sensitive and doesn't do as good of a job as smoothing out the footage as the Get Up 2 does. Hopefully a firmware update will fix this, but possibly in the future we'll see that. Otherwise, this is a really solid alternative to the Get Up 2 if you're looking for a more premium priced, but still very affordable. This thing is rolling in at $99 to $90 online. Very good price for this camera. I've included links on where to buy it online down below. So go ahead and check out the ELE Explorer Pro. I do recommend it. This is a camera I've been very happy with. It has a few little things here and there that kind of bothered me, but overall a very solid experience and one of the best action cameras I've used this year. Definitely a step up from the initial ELE Explorer and very close to the Get Up 2. Okay guys, Isaac Walton for Hunting the River King. Thanks for watching, and thank you for taking a look at my very fat cat that is on a diet but is not following that diet very well.